Right, and so one thing I forgot to mention about the Summer Institute is that in addition to being out at this beautiful place, we also, throughout the 2-week, 10-day course, we immerse you in really cool activities. We have a mindfulness class out there. We have a cooking demonstration with Chef Martha Stewart, or not Martha Stewart, sorry, not Martha Stewart, but Martha Stafford, who is the founder of the Charlottesville Cooking School, and so she really engages your palate around food when you're talking about the politics and the science around food and food production. So it's a really, really cool place. So I'm going to open it up for any questions that you guys have about the Kitchen Garden, the Summer Institute, interdisciplinary majors and academics at UVA, really anything.
Excellent.
Yeah.
You mentioned looking at herbal alternatives to pesticides. Do you use actual pesticides or more alternative?
In our Kitchen Garden, we're totally organic. We're not organic certified because the certification process behind that is really expensive, and like I said, we're just like grant based. But yeah, no sprays. That's the beauty of this Kitchen Garden too, since we're not focused on production like another kind of farm or operation. We can really experiment with things, and if we lose things because we didn't spray a chemical pesticide on it, then so be it. But these students were actually, they were using a lemon balm paste to study whether like the natural pesticidal effects of that would apply when like you put it on leaves. And it did, although their results were skewed because then they used a like iceberg lettuce based paste as a control, and that actually attracted a lot of bugs because I think iceberg lettuce has a lot of sugar in it, so it wasn't a great control. But those are the kinds of experiments that you'll see during this agroecology class. Another student was, I don't know if you guys have ever heard the saying, what goes together grows together, just like corn and soybeans go together, or tomatoes and basil go together. So he was growing tomatoes and basil next to each other and sort of like mapping their growth rates and seeing whether they had any effects on each other. And he wasn't even, I think he's in English, this guy, Charlie, from the last Morven Summer Institute, he's an English major, so it's really open to students of all majors, or no, if you don't have a major yet, like, don't worry about it. Any other questions? No? Well, if my email is not on here, this is our graduate student coordinator for the Morven Summer Institute, but if you'd like more information about the Kitchen Garden, would like to come out and volunteer, I can give you my email. I can write it on the board, or you can come up and see me afterwards. We carpool out there, so you don't need to have a car. That's important. We pick you up from the chapel, or from, I guess the chapel would be a pretty good location for you guys. And then we usually have work days in the mornings before class, or like on the weekends, on Saturdays or Sundays.
So I do have a question. Are there any paid work opportunities during the summer for UVA students?
Paid work opportunities. So we have internships, but they're really funded by you applying to a parents committee grant. So each year we usually have someone who gets really interested in the garden and wants to either like manage it over the summer or conduct research over the summer. So they'll apply in the spring for a parents committee grant, which if you have a lot of interest in what you're doing, like they're not too hard to get. So yeah, if you're interested in that.
So this is called a parents committee grant.
Parents committee.
Parents, like UVA parents.
UVA parents committee.
Fund. Okay, did you know about the UVA parents committee grants? Okay, good.
Yeah, there are a lot of awesome grant opportunities around UVA.
Great, perfect. Do you know of any Brown students who have done anything at Morven?
At Morven, we've had, so Sarah,
Oh yeah,
not
hi Sarah. I'm sorry,
not
I
to
forgot.
point her
You're
out,
third
but
year. That's right.
Sarah has volunteered a lot in the garden. She can tell you more about.
Yeah, I go volunteer volunteer, usually like once every other week, on a morning class. And I was also in Charlottesville over the summer and participated in the CSA as well.
Yeah, and we've definitely had a lot of students from Brown come out before and volunteer. So you guys are all really nice and cool, so love. Yeah.
Where do students stay during the Sundays?
During the Summer Institute, good question. I should have made that clear. So since there is no residential space out there as of yet, students are responsible for their own housing during those 10 days. But like often, I'm not sure when you're supposed to be out of Brown at the end of the semester, but often students, if they're moving off grounds or if they live off grounds, they'll stay just where they've been living, because usually leases end in June or August. So you'll just stay where you've been living or stay with a friend, but you are responsible for figuring out your own housing during that time.
Well, who knows? Maybe one of the horse stalls you could end up living in.
No.
I mean, at the rate
No,
we're going,
I didn't.
right?
I didn't mean to make that. I mean, I know that sounds really weird, but if you've ever been out to
Well,
these
they're
aren't
beautiful.
horse stalls.
They're
These
beautiful.
are like primo, and
They're
with
sweet.
the talent in the UVA architecture school, I'm sure that they would transform them into like New York studio apartment looking buildings. So no, you wouldn't be in horse barns
You
if
have
that
to
ever.
look for in the future.
Yeah,
Right,
yeah.
Exactly.
But it's pretty, I mean, it's pretty easy to find housing, especially people are out of town and they're looking for like a month-long subletter, or even you could get a half-month sublet. So, yeah.
Other questions, comments? Yes, Katie?
Yeah.
You mentioned what goes together grows together. Do you do just culture crops, or do you do anything?
We don't do so totally crop rotation, like mixed. We're not mixed use in the sense that we used to have chickens, but unfortunately they got eaten by something out there. We have a fence, a big fence around our garden,
I know, I have chickens, right.
but we do rotate all of our crops. And so no, the corn farmer, like that leases 500 of the acres, is a monoculture, and that's sort of what Professor Lairdow was talking about when he was saying we're really utilizing this space, because you can walk to the kitchen garden and see this like organic, sort of hippy-dippy crop rotational system, and then you can walk and see this monocultured, intensive chemical spray farm. Yeah.
Well, Samantha's going to come up to the Hill House. And
Yeah.
she's going to hang around for a while just to chat with you all. As you know, we did have the events program coordinator scheduled to come, but had a conflict in Washington, and then we had personal circumstances that kept another speaker from being here. So we are going to end a little bit early tonight. But first of all, we'll give you a round of applause for everything you've done for us. We have a small token of our appreciation
Oh my goodness,
for
that's
being
so
here.
nice.
Hopefully you will put that to good use during the summer months in particular.